And welcome back. We are now going to jump right into doing some programming examples with strings. So let's go ahead and just first start by creating a few strings. So I'm going to call a string, let's just say str1, and let's just have that equal to just a word. And let's do str2, and we're going to set that equal to, let's just say, a phrase. And let's just do one more str3, but we're not going to initialize str3 to anything right now. All right, so right now we of course have three strings, so str1, str2, str3, and I want to just quickly go over a couple of these different concepts. So obviously we know how to print out a string, so if I just want to do a system.println and I just do str1, it will print out, of course, str1. Now, if I were to have it be just a regular print line statement and I just put quotes around it, it's effectively the same thing, except we're not printing out the variable of the string type. But what's if I wanted to join two strings? What's if I wanted to concatenate them? All right, there's that nice big word that we have, which means simply just to join together. So let's say I do str1 plus str2. Then, of course, we should get a concatenation here, should join these two strings together. So when I run this now, the program, of course, will print out just a word, and I get a word, a phrase. But you'll notice that we have these two words joined together because there's no spaces in here. Now, of course, I could go and modify that string, but if I don't have the ability to modify a string, remember, we can, of course, just concatenate in a space, which is what I'm just going to go ahead and do now. I'll just go ahead and concatenate in a space character here. And what that's going to allow me to do is have that be just a nice, quick, and easy thing. Oh, I put an extra plus symbol in there. So now we got str plus str2. So now when I run this, I get a word, a phrase. Perfect. That looks great. Now, what's if I had escape characters in here instead? If, let's say I wanted to put it so that way these two are on different lines. So if I wanted str1 plus str2, so I'm going to use the same kind of format again. But now let's say I want to put it so that this is one line, this is another. Well, the easiest way to do that, remember, is we talked about escape characters. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to join in an escape character. But remember, with an escape character, it's still technically a string. So I still need to use those quotations here. And also make sure I'm using the right slash here, because if I use the wrong slash, it's not going to work. I'll just show that real quick. I'm going to go ahead and put in the wrong slash here. And if I run this, you'll see I get not the desired result that we were expecting. So again, that's why it's very important to make sure we get that correct slash in there, because now when I run it, you'll see I get a word, a phrase, and they're on two different lines. What's if I wanted to instead you make this a tab? Well, a tab is simply just /t. You know, we could do that very easily. If I wanted to do this with, let's say, just make it a slash. Remember, two slashes is the way to roll this. Perfect. Nice and easy there. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that as a new line character, though, for now. Now, one of the last things I just want to kind of touch up on is, of course, we did touch base on string methods. So if I wanted to, for example, print out a string, let's say I want to know how long is string 1. Well, I can start typing length and it'll tell me str length. There it is. Put my semicolon, so that's happy. Go ahead and run my program, and you will see it will spit out 6. And if I want to compare things, obviously I have other methods that I can do that. Now, most of these methods, of course, are going to require us to put them inside print line statements if we want to see a result. Now, if I do something like str.to lowercase, let's say, all right, so we're going to make those all lowercases here. And I just do this, and I then say, hey, you know, I want to know what did that change str. So if I just go ahead and do a system.println of str1, and because we say, hey, it's two lowercase, but notice we're not setting it back equal to anything. All right. If I would run that and I didn't equal it to anything, notice it still comes out the same. So always remember, if you use these just on their own, you have to tell it to go back to something. Otherwise, Java doesn't know what you want to do it. Because I could make this, for example, str3, which we hadn't used at this point. Maybe I want string 3 to be this one to lowercase. And so now I'll change that to str3 so we get the right string. If I run this, you'll see we now get the correct string. There it is, to lowercase. So a quick overview and just a recap of some of the different things that we've been able to do with strings. One last thing I'm going to show, of course, real quick, is what happens when we start getting in with numeric types. And so I'm just going to do a quick reminder here with numeric types. If I, of course, try to put in a numeric type with a number type, remember the key thing here is that it is simply going to affix it to the end here. It is not going to add these. So for example, if I wanted to, let's just add in another num here. So just say num2. All right, and if I go ahead and try to do this way, we of course will just simply get those added to the end. It will not add them as numbers. We'd have to put parentheses around this in order for that to work. Because remember, the way this works is when Java sees a string inside of a print line statement, it's going to convert everything else here and treat it as if they were strings. But if I wanted to add these first, I need to put parentheses there, because then Java sees the parentheses and says, oh, you want me to do that first. And then it would add these numbers as normal and then join it to the string. So just little things to keep in mind there, as we now have got a lot of experience working with strings under our belt.